Today we are going to do a full walkthrough of Seasons 1 Adult Challenge, The Heart of Sarah. Anytime during this video, if you'd like to pause the video and figure these clues out by yourself before we give them away, feel free to pause the video. Step 1 is to get signed up on the website. You can register as an individual to complete the challenge, or you can register as a team to improve your odds. Once you have registered, you will have received an email. The email will tell you where to proceed to begin the challenge. This year's email told you to advance to the Sugar Goat Baking and Grazing Company, which is located in Park Square in Franklinville, New York. Once you arrive, you will let the staff know that you are there for the Enchanted Mountain Challenge. At that time, you will be asked to sign a waiver and be given a welcome packet. Inside the welcome packet, you will receive a welcome letter, along with several tools that you will need throughout the challenge. After giving a basic run-through, the employee at Sugar Goat Baking and Grazing will ask you to meet them around the back of the building. At that point, you will watch an opening video to introduce and set the stage for the Enchanted Mountain Challenge, Season 1, The Heart of Sarah. And here is that video. The heart of Sarah belongs to only one man. In the 1890s, Civil War infantryman, entrepreneur, and Village of Franklinville resident Simeon Robbins set out to follow his wanderlust, trekking thousands of miles to the Yukon Territory in search of gold. Though the living conditions were difficult, Simeon persevered in his mission, and one day discovered the largest gold nugget ever found in the Yukon Territory. He was heartsick for his wife, the love of his life, who was back in Franklinville anxiously awaiting his return. He named the nugget the Heart of Sarah, as the richness, beauty, and strength of this precious metal reminded him of the purity and love in the heart of his beloved. Mining was rough business, and there was a lot of fierce competition amongst the miners, most whom had left their families, as this was their last-ditch effort. Theft and violence was common, and Simeon was now a prime target. Once Simeon realized the significance of his discovery and the fact that it may be in danger, he began the treacherous return trip home. When he arrived back in Franklinville, he set about building a magnificent Queen Anne-style mansion to share with his wife. As he began to erect the impressive structure, both townsfolk and strangers from afar started to ask how he amassed the wealth necessary to construct such a grand building. The home became known as the Miner's Cabin. Simeon was a dedicated member of the community and wanted to see Franklinville grow and prosper. As such, he began telling people about his journey and success in the Yukon Territory. This inspired several young men from Franklinville and Ellicottville to make the trip to Alaska. However, not everyone took the news of his success in stride. Though it took months, news of Simeon's discovery eventually descended upon his fellow miners in the Yukon. These men had been enduring treacherous weather, sickness, cold, loneliness, and failure in their mission for months. Upon hearing this news, 3 of the men who had mined with Simeon decided there might be an easier way to reap the rewards of mining, and that was to steal Simeon's fortune. Most specifically, the heart of Sarah. One early spring evening, Simeon and Sarah were enjoying lemonade on the porch on their newly finished home when Simeon was attacked by 3 men, whom he recognized as fellow miners from the Yukon. They ransacked the miners' cabin and threatened that they would never stop searching for the heart of Sarah. Simeon and Sarah were afraid, and they felt the only way that Simeon and the fortune would be safe is if Simeon hid the heart of Sarah. In order to ensure that the treasure wasn't completely lost in the event of Simeon's untimely death, he entrusted several friends with pieces of the puzzle, which, when assembled, would lead to the location of the heart of Sarah. Unfortunately, Simeon became suddenly ill and passed away quickly without ever revealing the location of the heart of Sarah. Legend has it that not even Sarah knew the exact location of the golden nugget. But here in Franklinville and Ellicottville, townsfolk keep the legends alive and still hold on to the secrets they have been told about since the late 1800s. Nobody to this day has yet to discover its location. Can you be the one to assemble the clues and discover the location of the heart of Sarah? Once you open the treasure chest and grab your scroll, you will exit the building and the challenge begins. You will notice on the outside of the map there is some writing. The writing reads, "Cross with care when the rapids are flowing. Many use the down tree to the right." This may come in handy. For when you arrive at your next location, you do have to cross a small creek. And sometimes when that river is flowing, you're going to need that tree to get across. The bottom left side of the map shows your current location. The bottom right of the map will show a compass, showing the orientation of the map. The words on the left read, "The last will and testament of William Wigham. In the presence of my best friend, my witness, Simeon B. Robbins, I attest that upon my death, I wish to donate my 547-acre farm to the state of New York, so that it may be preserved and enjoyed for years to come. May the birds sing brightly, may the deer roam free, and may the bears drink from the creek each spring." If you notice, there is a couple clues in these words. The 547-acre farm is actually Bear Creek State Forest. And in the last paragraph, the words bears and creek are underlined, again leading to Bear Creek State Forest. Also, Bear Creek Road. In the top center of the map, there is a red letter S. If you look back in your welcome packet, you have a sheet of paper that says the red word. You may not know it at this point. You may not notice it until you get your second red letter, but that red letter S would be entered in one of the 5 spaces on the red word sheet. On the top right, there is also 3 boxes. The box on the left has the number 1 in it. Again, at this time, you will not be sure what that means, but this will definitely be important later on in the challenge. Underneath the number 1, there is a quote from Laura Lynn Jackson, and that quote states, "Signs give us meaning in moments where there seems to be no meaning to be found." The word signs will be important, and you don't know it yet, because that is what you're looking for on your map. If you notice on your map, there are two X's. Typically on a map, X marks the spot. In this case, both X's mark the spots. You're going to drive down the road and turn left down Bear Creek Road. At this point, you will find a pull-off parking spot. You will find a sign there that says FLT, and that sign stands for Finger Lakes Trail. This is the trail that you will take, and you will follow the trail up the hill until you arrive at your first X, which is a sign. Your first sign, as you will see hanging in the tree, says F equals 1 with a moon symbol above it. At this moment, until you see your second sign, the F equals 1 is not going to mean very much. So let's continue and find the second X. When you get to your second X, you will find another sign. This sign has a series of numbers on it separated by dots. It is now time to decipher the signs. Your first sign was F equals 1. Your second sign was a series of numbers. I'm sure there was several thoughts going through your head to figure out what this could mean. What it is a letter number code system starting with F equals 1. And if F equals 1, G will equal 2, H will equal 3, I will equal 4, and so on and so forth. Your code system, knowing that F equals 1, will look like this. You can now use this code system to decipher sign number 2 and figure out what it says. After breaking down all the numbers, the second sign spells out Firehouse Liquors. Firehouse Liquors is a small liquor store located in the heart of Franklinville, New York. You have now arrived at Firehouse Liquors. At this point, you now need to use your first code word. On the first sign that said F equals 1, you will also notice a moon, a half moon shape. This will be the first code that you use in the challenge, the half moon. When you line up the half moon on your code sheet, the word is family. When you walk into Firehouse Liquors, you will say the word family. At that point, the store worker will tell you that they're having trouble with the registration on the fire truck. In the event that Firehouse Liquors was closed when you got there, there would have been a sign on the door, which led you to a video. And this is that video.
Welcome to Firehouse Liquors. I'm sorry you missed me today, but I'm sure you can still help me with the registration on the fire truck.
When you take a look at the fire truck outside, you're going to see in the bottom right-hand corner of the right window, there is a registration sticker. At first glance, you will notice on the registration sticker that there is a symbol. That symbol is a star. You will also notice that there is another red letter, and that letter is the letter T. You may also notice it says Franklinville, New York. But at this point, you may be confused. Remember, when you get confused or stuck, reference back into your welcome packet. In your welcome packet, there are several tools that will help you along your way. The tool that will help you get through the registration sticker is this. It is an index card specifically cut out to be placed over the registration sticker. When the index card is placed over the registration sticker, you will see that the star is in the center box, which again is going to be very important to move on. The top box will have the red letter T. Again, another red letter. You're going to take that red letter T and fill it in on your red letter card as your second letter. The very bottom box says Franklinville, New York, and the box above it is key. There is 3 R's, triple R, Franklinville, New York. If you Google or look up RRR Franklinville, New York, or Triple R Franklinville, New York, this is going to lead you to Triple R Camping Resort. Congratulations, you have solved your next clue. It's time to go to Triple R. Triple R is a camping resort right here in Franklinville, New York. They offer cabins and RV parking along with an amazing water park and endless activities for the young and old. There, you will again use your code sheet. This time, the star, which equals farmer. You're going to walk into the Triple R resort and give the worker the code word farmer. You will then receive a deck of cards. On the front of the cards is a clue. To solve this, you will once again use your tools in your welcome packet. At the back of the code sheet is a key to decipher different styles of codes. This particular puzzle is called a Rosicrucian cipher. When decoded, the hidden message reads, Bartender, Enchanted Brewing Company. You will also notice in your cipher that there is one red letter. This red letter is the letter O. You can now take your red word and put the letter O in the third space. Though you haven't used the playing cards yet, remember to keep all of your clues as you go along, because you never know when you'll have to go back and reference things. You will also notice on your cards, on the bottom, underneath the cipher, is another symbol. When you reference your symbol sheet, you will see that the code word needed for Enchanted Brewing Company is the word furniture. You're now at Enchanted Brewing Company and you're going to approach a bartender and tell them you're with the Enchanted Mountain Challenge. They're going to ask you for the passcode. The passcode, as stated on your symbol, is furniture. The bartender will then hand you a packet. That packet is a diary entry from Simeon Robbins himself. After reading the diary entry, you may or may not have quickly noticed a trend. Simeon cleverly hid a secret code inside the diary entry. He continued to reference a number followed by one of the 4 symbols located in a deck of cards. But after you start reading and you start noticing those 4 symbols being used over and over, you should start thinking about the deck of cards that you still have in your possession. Once you notice this, your next step was to start from the beginning of the diary entry and put the cards in order as they appear in the diary. For example, in the third paragraph dated March 23rd, 1894, Simeon wrote, "A new group of 10 men have traversed, with spades over shoulder, the Dawson City Pass today. The leader of this group, Ace, wants to start a club so that we have a place in the evenings to relax and exchange stories." In those 2 sentences, you will notice that he used the word 10 followed by the word spades. And then in the next sentence, he used the word ace followed by the word club. So in this example, the 10 of spades would be followed by the ace of clubs. You will notice on the back of the diary there is another 3 boxes. The middle box is filled in with the number 3. This is your second number that you have received that looks like this. You also noticed an arrow on each of the cards. These arrows all need to face the same direction. Reading through the entire 7-page diary entry, putting the cards in order as they appear in the diary. Once all the cards were sorted in the correct order, you will quickly notice the writing on the sides of the cards. The hidden message reads, "Text cards to 1-855-714-3042. After sending the text, you will receive a text back. The text back says, "Proceed to Eagle Forest Road, between Ellicottville Central School and Dollar General. Park at the end of the road, and then ... There you will see a set of numbers. These numbers are GPS coordinates." At this point, you will use your cell phone or other device to figure out exactly where the GPS coordinates are going to lead you. After parking, you are now following your phone into the woods. When you get close, you will find a forest of pine trees. There, hidden in the pine forest, a small treasure chest against a tree. Inside the chest, you will have found a letter. The letter reads, "You have hiked the Eagle Trail and you found a small piece of the puzzle which will ultimately lead you to the heart of Sarah. It is no surprise that a miner who made his fortune at the Bold Eagle Mine in Alaska would think that the Eagle Trail would be a perfect place to hide a clue. You are one step closer to solving the mystery and discovering the heart of Sarah. How many more clues must you solve? How much further must you traverse? Only Simeon knows, but keep persevering, and you just might find out for yourself." It then tells you to text EAGLE to 1-855-714-3042 to receive your next clue. After you text the word EAGLE over, you will receive a text with a response. The response reads, "You're one step closer to the heart of Sarah. Click the link below for your next clue. Enter password MINE to watch the video." And here is that video.
Hi, I'm Ashley Shoemaker from Rizzo's Pizzeria in Franklinville. If you found this clue, then you are moving along well in your journey to find the heart of Sarah. So many of us who live in this area have been keeping secrets and legends alive, and I, for one, am excited to learn who will actually put this puzzle together and solve an age-old mystery we've been talking about in Franklinville and Ellicottville since the late 1800s. Over 100,000 men traveled to Alaska and the Yukon Territory in search of gold. As you have learned, our very own Simeon Robbins discovered a mine near Sitka, Alaska, which he named the Bold Eagle. We don't know the exact route that Simeon took to get to Alaska, but one can only imagine how difficult this trip was. History tells us that it took months to take the trip, and of the 100,000 men who set out to mine, only about 30,000 actually made it to their final destination. Miners were required to carry all of their supplies hundreds of miles over snowy mountain passes and down rivers in homemade boats to get to the mine fields. In fact, Canadian authorities required that Klondikers bring at least a year's supply of food with them, in addition to anything else they might need. Because their supplies could weigh upwards of a ton, most of the travelers had to make multiple trips along these treacherous routes. Twists and turns and switchbacks along the way were common and confusing. But like Mr. Robbins, you were able to navigate the path to get to this destination, even if you may have been doubting your route along the way. The history books will tell you that Mr. Robbins traveled all over the country throughout the years, even after he built his magnificent home. One time, his father found him working in a pharmacy that he opened in New York City. Other people found him in the Midwest, living under an assumed name. He was even elected as a justice of the peace in the town of Missouri Junction, Iowa. Legend has it that Mr. Robbins continued to travel like this even after he became rich because he had something to hide, and we know that's the case. Some say the heart of Sarah could be in dozens of states, but the rumor amongst those of us who live in these two towns is that what he had to hide was hidden much closer to home. Maybe you will be the one to put one of our town's mysteries to rest. We wish you luck as you continue your quest in finding the heart of Sarah.
You will notice in the video the red dots and red lines randomly appearing. This was a hidden message. The hidden message was written in Morse code. When you put the Morse code together, it will spell out Katie's Cafe. You will also see a symbol at the end of the video that looks like an X with a circle around it. This means you'll once again use the symbol to get the code word. When these two are put together, this means you will proceed to Katie's Cafe and use your code word to get your next clue. Proceed to give one of the employees the code word. You will then be given a scroll. Inside the scroll, you will see a statement from Emily St. John Mandel. The statement reads, "There is an inherent pleasure in being unseen." You will also notice in the top right is another red letter, the letter N. You will use this red letter N to fill in your fourth red letter. On the bottom right of the sheet, you also have another number in the 3 boxes. It is the number on the right, and it is the number 6. Your biggest clue on what to do next lies in this statement, the word unseen. Again, your welcome packet will light the way. Use your purple blacklight. Once lit up, you'll notice there is a hidden clue. Each word is backwards, but as you take your time, you should be able to read it. A photo of the mountains shall be your code word. Elizabeth and Monroe Streets will show the way. Proceed to Sugar Goat. Show clerk picture of the mountains and ask for the secrets of the darkest art. From here, you are going to proceed to the corner of Elizabeth and Monroe Street, which is right in Ellicottville. Once there, you were directed in the letter to take a picture of the mountains from that corner. As you look around, you will notice the blue mountains on the Weed Ross sign across the street. Take a picture of these mountains, and you are on your way to Sugar Goat Baking and Grazing. When you arrive at Sugar Goat, you will ask for the secrets of the darkest art. You will be handed a book. Inside the book is a safe with a 3-number passcode. If you look back at 3 of your clues, you will notice the boxes on 3 clues. Each clue has a number in a different box: 1, 3, and 6. The number 136 will be the code to open the safe. Inside the safe, you will get a letter to Simeon from Sarah.
My dearest Simeon, I hope this letter finds you well. I worry so much about you, and I pray that you are being safe and careful. I know that you are making this sacrifice so that we may enjoy a beautiful life together upon your return. I have been checking in on as many of your business endeavors as I can while you are gone. In fact, just this morning, I visited the building we own at 26 Park Square to see how the shopkeeper, Emerson, is faring in your absence. We had a lovely chat, and I am happy to report that business continues to be healthy. I was so excited to read your last correspondence. You struck gold. As you have instructed me in your last letter home, I have begun to inquire about properties that may be available for sale, so that at last we may build our dream home. I believe I have found the most perfect location. I fall asleep at night dreaming of turrets, stained glass, and intricate spindle work on a glorious front porch, where I wish to sit and relax with you while we sip lemonade. I can almost see it in my mind's eye, a beautiful muted green color with burgundy and forest green accents. I know that you'll be anxious to hear about this property and its exact location. However, I want to surprise you with this news, and I will wait for you to return. I know you always like a little mystery in your life, and you definitely aren't afraid of a challenge, as your current trip to Alaska most certainly highlights. So our friend and shopkeeper Emerson and I have planned something fun to unveil the location I have selected to be the site of our future dream home. Something this big shouldn't ever be swept under the rug, but that is where it will remain until you come home and discover it. With all my love, Sarah.
In the letter, she is very specific about a property she found to build their dream home. The letter mentions specific architectural features of the home, to include the colors of the building. While there is clues about the house in the letter, you will also notice in the bottom right corner of Sarah's letter to Simeon, the red letter E. This will complete your red word. Of all 5 letters put together in the correct order, you have spelled the word stone. The last sentence will direct you to look under the rug. When you go outside the bakery, you will notice a rug. When you lift up the rug, you will notice some writing. There is an address, 9 Pine Street, with an arrow pointing in a certain direction. You will also see a symbol that will be needed at your next stop. You are now on your way to the famous miner's cabin, where Simeon and Sarah actually resided. When you arrive at the miner's cabin, which is merely across the street, you will immediately see a letter in the front window on the porch. The letter reads, "This magnificent building, hidden in plain sight, was constructed with the proceeds of Simeon's gold mining success. Here on Pine Street in Franklinville stands a building of beautiful architecture, but it is more significant than that. Of all the men who were part of the Klondike Gold Rush, it is estimated that only 50 of these men found enough gold to strike it rich. Here in Franklinville lived one such man, and with these riches he constructed this home. Text 1895 to 1-855-714-3042 to receive your next clue." After texting the word 1895, you will receive a reply. The reply reads, "You have arrived at Simeon and Sarah's home. Click the link below for your next clue and enter the password to watch the video."
The home was originally built by a miner named Simeon Robbins in 1895. This was all done for the love of his life, his third wife, Sarah Chandler. I'm Maggie Fredrickson. I'm the curator here at the museum. This house has some unusual aspects to it. One of them is the parquet floors. These floors were put together with at least 13 different types of wood in different designs. This is a Queen Anne Victorian house, and that means it has to have at least 3 floors. It has to have towers, it has to have balconies, it has to have porches, and should be painted in at least 3 colors to be considered a true Queen Anne Victorian. Simeon supposedly himself named it the miner's cabin, and it's strange because people who come to visit us drive down the street and sometimes miss us because they're looking for some type of a cabin.
In this video, there was some incredible facts about Simeon's home, the miner's cabin. As the video faded to static, the video gave way to a clue that read, "In this town there is a store where you buy paint and so much more." This is going to direct you to the hardware store, which is not very far from where you are. You've got this far using your head. It's time to speak the word of red. The next line directs you to speak the word of red. The last line says, on the wall the key must match. Where you go, unlock the latch. At this point you will not understand it, but you will shortly. You will then arrive at the hardware store in town. After approaching the clerk and speaking the red word, stone, the hardware store worker will give you a key and direct you to a framed sign in the store. On the sign, you will see it surrounded by a variety of keys. Next to each key has a name next to it. These names are all names of cemeteries. In the middle of the frame, you will see a riddle. This riddle was written by Simeon Robbins, and it reads, "Of all my comrades I knew best, a podium stands at their final rest. When one stands as if to speak, 166 degrees the way to sneak. 24 steps and use your key. What you seek is yours to see." At this point, you will notice that your matching key has the word Katie's underneath it. In the first line of the riddle, you will see it says, "Of all my comrades I knew best, a podium stands at their final rest." Final resting place is going to lead you to a cemetery. Your key saying Katie's, this is going to lead you to Katie's cemetery. Before you leave the hardware store, it will be best for you to take a picture of this sign. This way you can reference it when you get to Katie's cemetery. You have now arrived at Katie's cemetery. Once you have arrived at the cemetery, based on the riddle, the second line speaks, "A podium stands at their final rest." You're now on the lookout for a podium. The podium is 3/4 of the way back through the cemetery. It is fairly easy to spot. As described in the riddle, one standing at the podium as if to speak, 166 degrees the way to sneak. To obtain the correct path to walk, you'll need a compass. When the compass is used and pointed to 166 degrees, this will point you in the right direction. The next line in the riddle tells you to take 24 steps and use your key. 24 steps from the podium, you arrive at what appears to be a gravestone. On exploring this gravestone, you will notice a secret hatch door with a lock on it. Use your key and open the hatch. Once the hatch is opened, you will notice you have discovered the heart of Sarah. You have done it. You have found the heart of Sarah. Inside the hatch, you will notice directions to watch one more video, and here it is. You have officially completed the first annual Enchanted Mountain Challenge.
Hello again, I'm Carol Merkel, owner of Firehouse Liquors. I see you figured out the registration on the fire truck, and you've done a whole lot more.
We are John and Jennifer Tonelli, owners of Triple R Campground. 10 years ago, we decided to make Franklinville our permanent home, and it didn't take long for us to become locals.
I'm Nathan Westman, bar manager of Ellicottville Brewing Company. Like John and Jennifer, I too have been entrusted by members of our community to ensure that our history is never forgotten.
We here in the Ellicottville and Franklinville, New York region are proud of our heritage. I'm Katie Arena, owner of Katie's Cafe, and you have done it. You have solved the mystery that has been puzzling us for more than a century.
Hi, I'm Sean Cornelius, president of Weedross Insurance. I love to call Ellicottville my home. It's been a pleasure sharing with you the history of both Ellicottville and our neighboring community of Franklinville.
You have spent hours thinking and decoding, walking and talking, putting together so many pieces of mystery that has ultimately led you to the heart of Sarah.
Congratulations! You've solved the mystery of the heart of Sarah. We are Pete and Charlie Shortino, owners of Franklinville True Value. Let us be the first to thank you for coming to our town and solving our age-old mystery. Thank you so much for visiting our little hardware store.
And we are Sean and Kristen, creators of the Enchanted Mountain Challenge.
We hope the challenge was not only a fun experience for you and your family and friends, but an opportunity to explore two towns in a way that maybe you never have before.
Look around you right now. Take a minute to honor those resting at your feet.
Those who have come before you, who have paved the way for so many of the wonderful advancements, inventions, and thought processes we benefit from today.
When you go back home, wherever home is for you, don't forget that no matter how new your house is or where you come from, the ground upon which we stand was something else before now.
History is all around us. We hope that we can spark your own curiosity to learn more about the history of your region, and we're very proud to have been able to introduce you to some of our history here.
Don't forget to send a selfie of you and your team with the Heart of Sarah in the background to enchantedmountainchallenge@gmail.com with your names and contact information so we can enter you into the drawings.
And don't forget to follow us on social media to learn the whole backstory of the Heart of Sarah, which we will release after Labor Day weekend. On behalf of us and our partners, thank you so much for embarking upon this journey.
You have officially completed the first annual Enchanted Mountain Challenge.
Next year's mystery and challenge is already in the works. We hope you'll come back next summer and try to solve the mystery that awaits.
Great job this year.
And good luck next year.
That was cheesy.
Super cheesy.
We were proud to highlight the history of our community, and while we took creative liberties with developing a storyline, much of what you learned was true. Simeon was indeed married to Sarah, and they were very much in love. Among Simeon's many adventures and business endeavors, he was in fact a Klondiker who struck gold in Alaska and used the proceeds to construct the miner's cabin. This play on words, calling the building a cabin, also gives us a little insight into the personality of Mr. Robbins. While he didn't actually discover the largest gold nugget in Alaska, and nobody was after his fortune, there is a true remaining piece of the gold he found right here in Franklinville. It is the property of the Ishaway Valley Historical Society and is in a safe deposit box at our local community bank branch. In addition to a cash prize of $500 randomly awarded to a team who completed the challenge, additional prizes were given to finishers. The challenge also gave charitable donations to the Ishaway Valley Historical Society, the Ellicottville Historical Society, and the Cattaraugus County Historical Research Museum to help continue to preserve our rich history.
If you were a participant in this year's Enchanted Mountain Challenge and you found the Heart of Sarah, congratulations. If you were one of the participants who did not complete it, thank you so much for your support, and we hope this walkthrough will give you an idea on how to solve some clues in the future. We poured our hearts and souls into creating this, and we hope to see you again next year for Season 2. If you didn't get a chance to visit for Season 1, Season 2 will surely test you and your teams starting Memorial Day weekend 2023.